Hello YouTube, my name is Nero and today we have some Call of Duty Black Ops 3 and another episode of Dear Nero, which of course is the weekly series here on my channel where subscribers send me in fan mail and or fan questions and I'm best to answer them. To cover on the gameplay today, we are playing Gorod Krovi, the brand new zombies map now available to us in Black Ops 3 as part of the Descent DLC. What you're watching is actually my first time ever playing on the map. It's cringeworthy, it's awful, I'm walking around so confused, but I think it's actually kind of funny. I'm like a chicken with his head cut off going, where's the box? Where are the perks? How do I pack a punch? It's just, I thought it was entertaining to watch. Hopefully you guys will as well. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. And before we get into the video, I would like to say that I apologize for this week's episode going up a day late. Typically, Dear Nero is uploaded to every single Wednesday, but with the Descent DLC and all the videos I've been doing, I've just been so swamped with videos over the past couple of days that I figured, hey, we'll push Dear Nero back to Thursday. I don't think too many people will mind, and I also hope you guys don't mind if this week's episode is a little bit shorter than usual because it is ridiculously hot out. It is, oh my gosh, guys. There's literal sweat dripping down from me as I record this video. I don't have like central air or anything like that in my house, nor do many people in Pennsylvania. Typically, we have to use air conditioners. Here's the thing. I can't run an air conditioner while I'm recording my videos, right? Otherwise, tons of background noise. I can try to remove the background noise, but when I speak, it still picks up. It sounds terrible. It's not a good audio experience. So I'm just literally sitting here sweating and melting to record this week's episode. Absolutely insane. So hopefully you guys will understand if this week's episode is a little bit shorter than usual, but let's hop into the questions. The first of which is going to be coming in from Pink Fluffy Unicorns. I love how it's fluffy, not fluffy, on Twitter, who's going to write, Dear Nero, what would you say is the best Pokemon game if somebody wanted to get into the series? So I would definitely say Fire Red and Leaf Green would be the best games to get into this series if you're a brand new player, right? And the reason why is I think you should start with the original 151 Pokemon. You should start with the originals, right? The classics. You got Charmander, you got Squirtle, you got Bulbasaur, Pikachu, Mew, Mewtwo, Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres. You got all these classics that you've probably seen a lot, either with Pokemon Go, or if you've seen them in like marketing material, or in the anime, or if you've even seen some of the movies. Like, these were the original Pokemon, and I think Fire Red and Leaf Green would be a great place to start for a number of reasons, honestly, because the original games, while I love them, Red, Blue, and Yellow, they were made for the original Game Boy. I mean, they don't really have color. I mean, they have some color, but not really a whole lot of them, right? And then it's obviously going to be very glitchy. The graphics aren't very good, whereas Fire Red and Leaf Green, those are basically just remakes of the original Pokemon games, but for the Game Boy Advance. They look really good, and it's very simple as compared to like X and Y and stuff like that. So it's a very good place to start, in my opinion, and you can just download and play them from your computer. All you need to do is download a Game Boy emulator or like a Game Boy Advance emulator, like Visual Boy Advance, then just download a Pokemon Fire Red or a Pokemon Leaf Green ROM, then bam, you can play it right from your computer. That's probably the best way to get into the Pokemon series. If you had to ask me, it's free, it's the originals, but it's better looking than the original. It's a good way to go. The next question is going to be coming in from Navpaul, who's going to write, Dear Nero, I recently started watching your old Pokemon Let's Plays. I was disappointed when you ended Soul Silver, so could you please do another game? If you don't want to do an NDS game, you could do a GBA from hack, which I think he means ROM hack. For example, Pokemon Light Platinum or Pokemon Glazed. A response would be appreciated. Thanks for taking the time to read this. So to go back to my first question here, I said that you guys should probably download something like Visual Boy Advance or another emulator, then download a ROM and be able to play that Pokemon game, right? You can play really any of the older Pokemon games via that emulator. And what he's talking about here in this question, what Navpaul is talking about, is the idea that you can actually have modded Pokemon content. Similar to Custom Zombies on Call of Duty World at War, you can actually have modded Pokemon games to play. Like some popular ones, like he mentioned, would be like Pokemon Light Platinum or Pokemon Glazed, or there was one I think for Pokemon Crystal. There's definitely one for Pokemon Fire Red. I think it's called Fire Red Omega, where basically they change your starters and they change what Pokemon appear where, and they change all the gym battles to make them way more difficult, and so each gym leader has 6 Pokemon. It's custom Pokemon content, really. That's what he's talking about, and he's wondering if I'll ever do another series. Possibly. I always talk about this. People always want me to do another Pokemon series, and I want to do one, but I never want to guarantee that I'm going to do one. Say, yes, I'm going to do one definitely, because then people will be like, well, where is it? Where's your Pokemon playthrough, Nero? Where is it, you know? So I'm definitely not going to guarantee that I'm going to do one, but I definitely have a huge interest in doing another one. If I were to do one, it might be a Nuzlocke playthrough of some game, or it might be a playthrough of, like, I don't know, Pokemon Fire Red Omega or something along those lines. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's hop into the next one, where he's going to write, Dear Nero, do you think Call of Duty will ever have tanks tanks or anything similar to them again? Also, do you miss tanks? Thanks, Harry from Massachusetts. So Harry, I don't really miss tanks too much, and do I think we're going to see them in COD's multiplayer again? I really don't. Even if we go back to World War II or World War I don't see tanks being part of the Call of Duty multiplayer. Sure, it was interesting in World at War. I think we had Jeeps and stuff like that in some earlier Call of Duty games than that, but for the most part, Call of Duty is not a game that's really about vehicles. The vehicles that we have are our kill streaks, and I don't see a tank being a viable kill streak because that seems way too powerful. It's either going to be way too powerful or way too weak for being a tank, so I just don't see them in the COD multiplayer, and especially if you think of like Black Ops 3. What map would a tank work with in Black Ops 3? Like, they're all too fast-paced and, you know, tight and narrow now, right? It's not... Tanks don't work in Call of Duty, in my opinion anyway. Do I miss them? Not really. Sure, I had a lot of fun back in the day. I used to go on like 20 kill streaks all the time riding around in tanks in World at War. Heck, in my Return to World at War video, I think I went on something close to that in a tank. I did so good in that tank, I made the host rage quit. But I don't see them fitting in any newer Call of Duty games going forward. It seems so un-Call of Duty to be riding around in a tank. That's more of a Battlefield thing, right? The next question, he's going to write, Dear Nero, I have had World at War on the PC for a good time now and like playing zombies. Recently, I wanted to give custom zombies a try, but don't know where to look or download them. My question is, where do you download your maps, and where do you go to find them? Andrew from Illinois. So Andrew, the website that I use for downloading custom zombies maps would be zombiemodding.com. I think you have to make an account there, but zombiemodding.com is where I download my maps. What's actually great about that website, and maybe other websites are the same, I just don't really go to other websites, is they basically have like an installer process for your map. So you download the map, and it's going to prompt this thing from your downloads, which will basically do like an install thing, and then it just automatically basically just installs the maps for you, which is nice, because back in the day you would have to manually install them and extract them to folders and stuff like that, whereas on that website it just automatically click done, it puts it into your folder and does everything for you. It's pretty nice. But other maps may not actually do that. Some of the older ones especially may actually ask you to manually install them, and if you have to do that, there's going to be guides on YouTube as to how to manually install zombie maps, as well as how to work the console, because some maps don't load up properly when you try to load them. Sometimes you have to enable the console via the options and type in like /dev map space, then the name of the map, and get it to load that way. So there's plenty of tutorials online. I know it can be difficult at first, but once you get into the swing of things, once you start to understand things, it gets very simple pretty quickly. The next question, he's going to write, Dear Nero, just wanted to say that as an extra kill streak from your idea for a Call of Duty game, which was an amazing idea, I wanted to add that the hardest kill streak to get could be a mustard gas bomb that acts as a tactical nuke from Modern Warfare 2. Just an idea, and I didn't think you would see my comment. Anyway, enjoy your evening. Peace, George. So what George is referring to is a video I made almost a week ago called My Own Call of Duty Game. It's on my channel if you guys want to go back and watch it if you missed it. And basically in that video, I said what I would do if I were magically put in a position to be like the head honcho for Call of Duty, and I could design a Call of Duty game any way I wanted it. And in that video, I said it'd be World War II, Treyarch could be the developer, but I asked you guys for help with kill streaks, because how do you make a lot of very fun and interesting kill streaks out of World War II technology? And his suggestion here is to have some sort of mustard gas bomb. That could work, but why not just go full on World War II with it and make it an atom bomb, since we actually dropped 2 atom bombs in World War II, right? That you can make a tactical nuke 25 kill streak in that game, make it so you drop an atom bomb on the map and then you automatically win, make it the same as Modern Warfare 2. I think that's actually a pretty cool idea, and honestly, how did that go over my head? How did I not think of that in the video? Have an atom bomb as a kill streak in my own Call of Duty World War II game. Like, it makes perfect sense. For whatever reason, just right over the head. Didn't even think of it, but George did, so thank you so much for that. The next question, he's going to write, Dear Nero, sometimes I'll be listening to the radio and I'll hear a very popular song and think to myself, did the artist think this song would be anything special when they made it, or was it random? That made me think the same thing for YouTubers. When you make a video and it gets a lot of views and it's very popular, do you have any feeling or idea beforehand that the video might blow up? Michael from the Music City. Michael, I have no idea. The only videos I know are going to be popular are my top 10 videos, because every single one of them I've ever made has been popular, but for the most part, it's all hit or miss. I've spent so much time on videos that turned out to just flop. It's insane. Like, an example I've brought up before would be, I made a montage of the Origins Zombies map. I took a 4-hour gameplay and I condensed it into like a 4-minute like cinematic music video almost of that particular match. Worked day and night for like 3 days straight on that thing. People didn't really like it very much. They thought the audio was bad, which I had an old dinky headset at the time, so the audio sounded fine to me, but I admit the audio was poor, the song choice, the quality of the song was pretty poor, and just as a whole, the video barely got any views compared to my, like the rest of my videos, and people didn't seem to like it that much. I was like, I worked so hard on this, whereas there's other videos, like you look at some of my most successful videos ever, a lot of those, I didn't put nearly as much effort into them. They were just like, hey, I'm gonna make this video, it's a news video, or if it's, I'm gonna put together this, or put together that, and just, I didn't really think too much about it, and then suddenly that video blows up. So I'll definitely say it seems to be pretty random. Some of the videos I put the most time and effort into get the least amount of views, and then there's other times where I make a video where I didn't put in that much effort, and for whatever reason that video blows up, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. So it's definitely hit or miss, man. It's very, very hit or miss. The next question, he's going to write, Dear Nero, my 13th birthday is coming up this year, and here in Ireland, when you're 13, you have to move up from a primary school to a secondary school. I didn't really have a chance to have a good time in primary school. Could you give me some advice for how to have a better time in secondary? Thanks in advance, Ivan from Ireland/Italy. So Ivan, my advice is get involved in things. Once you're done with school, you're going to probably miss school to some extent. I think a lot of people will say that. Some might disagree, but I think a lot of people look back at their time in school and think to themselves like, yeah, that was a pretty fun time in my life. They also might think that they wish they would have done more while they're there. Do more sports, get involved in activities, do more stuff. And if you do all of that, you're going to have a better time because you're going to be more engaged with school and the people that are going to that school as compared to just going there and then coming home every single day, right? Going there, doing sports after school, doing clubs after school, participating in things, that's when you're going to make a lot of memories and you're probably going to have a lot more fun. So my advice for people going into high school or middle school or secondary school or wherever it is you want to call it, get involved with things. I think you're going to enjoy school a little bit more if you get involved. The next question, they're going to write, Dear Nero, I recently had surgery to remove my appendix, so I was wondering if you've had any surgeries in your life. Other than that, I love your videos and keep up the great work. Darcy from Cape Breton, Canada. So Darcy, I've never actually had any proper surgeries in my life. I've never had any major operations. I've never had my appendix removed like what happened to you. I never had my tonsils removed. I've never really been in any accidents or anything like that. I've been pretty fortunate in that respect. I did, however, have oral surgery. I actually had to have a couple of teeth pulled, and when they told me that, I was like, can we just, like, can you guys put me under that for that? Can I just be asleep for that? Because I don't want to be awake while you're pulling this tooth from my jawbone. That sounds horrible to me. I don't like being numbed. The whole thing just, it sounded awful, right? So I paid a bunch extra, they put me under, and it was insane when they did that, right? So I'm just laying there in the dentist chair, and then suddenly I'm out, and then I wake up, it feels like 1 second has passed, but it's actually been a couple of hours. I was like, wait, what? That was so weird. I was, of course, dizzy, like groggy the rest of the day for the most part, because I was put to sleep, basically. But yeah, that's my only story really where I was where I had some sort of surgery. Aside from that, I've been a pretty healthy and pretty fortunate person throughout the majority of my life. The next and final questions for this week's episode of Dear Nero are going to be coming in from John from Minnesota, who's going to be giving me a lightning round. Let's start it off here with favorite wonder weapon. So liquefier, definitely, I think was amazing. Favorite sport to watch, American football. Favorite season of the year, fall. Favorite holiday, Christmas. Best COD Black Ops game, the original Black Ops. And favorite takeout restaurant, Arby's. And all of those questions once again came in from John from Minnesota. I love those lightning round questions. They're so fun to do at times. I try to do them quickly, but it's hard to do them quickly when I've already, like, you know, read the question, copy and pasted it into my text document here so I can read it off during the episode and stuff like that. So I've had some time to think, but I like doing that because they're like short and sweet. You know, what's your favorite of this? What's your favorite of that? You know, I like lightning round questions. So ladies and gentlemen, that is going to conclude this week's episode of Dear Nero. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. And if you did, please drop me a rating. And if you guys would like to submit your questions for the next episode of Dear Nero, simply send me a personal message here on YouTube. You go to my About section, and from there you'll find a send message button if you guys don't know how to send a message on YouTube, or alternatively you go to my Twitter and tweet me at NeroTweets using hashtag Dear Nero. I'll go through all the questions every single week and I pick the ones that I want to feature for that week's episode. It's a very simple process, guys. Once again, I hope you enjoy the video. Drop me a rating. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.